you watch my channel, you know I'm a huge fan of the giant smartphone category. In fact, I reviewed two of the very best, the Xiaomi Mi Max 3 and the Honor Note 10. Well, I think I have the one that might beat them all. This is the Huawei Mate 20X. I just took delivery of it along with the Mate Pen, and I'm looking forward to unboxing and giving you my first impressions. Not only does it have a gorgeous 7.2-inch AMOLED display, it's got a glass and metal design, a whopping 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and I love the way it looks. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my unboxing and first look at the Huawei Mate 20X. Coming up.
Want to see more videos like this? Well, why not hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification icon. This way you'll be alerted every time I post a new video. And don't forget to check me out on my social media, especially Twitter, because that's where I post all the latest updates.
Now, I picked up the Mate 20X with my own money. It's $725. I purchased it from tradingshenzhen.com. I'll put the link below. I also picked up the M Pen from them. That was $76. Again, all the links below. So here's a quick rundown of the specs. It has a beautiful 7.2-inch AMOLED display. It's powered by the HiSilicon Kirin 980. That's Huawei's flagship processor for 2018. And it also has 6 GB of RAM with 128 GB of onboard storage, which is expandable via the Nano memory card slot. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. It also has a very big 5,000 milliamp hour battery. And of course, it has that Leica branded triple camera setup on the back. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. But enough with the specs, let's find out what you get inside the box. Let's open it up. Now, opening the box, you're greeted by the unit itself. We'll get to that in just a moment, but you also get some documentation which is in Chinese. Now, this is the Chinese version in English, but it does come in a global international version as well. You have the Huawei Supercharge adapter, a USB-C cable, as well as 3.5mm earbuds. Nice to see that included at this price point. Holding the unit for the first time, holy crap, this thing is massive. This is the new beast for sure. It also has a gorgeous midnight blue color. I elected to get the M Pen. This has 4,096 levels of pressure sensitivity, and it is rechargeable. They give you a couple of extra tips, and I like that. On the top, you get a 3.5mm headphone jack, thank God for that, an IR blaster to control your TV, and one of your 2 stereo speakers. On the back is your Leica branded triple camera setup. We'll talk more about the cameras later on. The USB-C port is located on the bottom, as well as your second stereo speaker. We'll talk more about the sound in just a little bit. There's a red accent on the power button, and the metal buttons are good to the touch. Size-wise, here's what it looks like against its competition. On the left is the Xiaomi Mi Max 3. On the right is the Honor Note 10. As you can see, this is a pretty massive phone in its own right. And just like the Honor Note 10, this sports an AMOLED display, which is absolutely gorgeous. You're looking at a 7.2-inch AMOLED display with a Full HD Plus resolution, 346 pixels per inch, and it has an 18.7:9 aspect ratio, making it somewhat manageable in one hand, believe it or not. And it also has a teardrop notch, which is not too bad. It's very subtle, and you can turn it off in the settings. This is a very bright display with extremely deep blacks, really vibrant colors. What you'd expect from an AMOLED display, this doesn't disappoint. This is one of the best displays on a giant smartphone I've ever seen. Watching HDR content is fantastic on this because it's HDR10 compliant, so when you're watching those excellent movies in HDR, it looks simply fantastic. I love this display. Not only does it have the screen real estate, but it looks gorgeous as well. And I love the fact that it has an 87.6% screen-to-body ratio, virtually no bezels, and I absolutely love that. And like I said, it does have a notch, but it's not the worst one I've ever seen. It's a teardrop notch, a little bit more subtle than other phones we've seen lately. And like the Samsung Galaxy Note 9, this also has a pen. It's called the M Pen. It has 4,096 levels of pressure sensitivity. It's rechargeable, so you don't have to get any batteries or anything like that. That's really good. And it actually works pretty good. Palm rejection works as advertised, and the pressure sensitivity was spot on. Now, having the pen is really convenient for sketching out artworks, or if you're a student for taking notes in a classroom, or an executive taking notes in a meeting. This certainly can get the job done. Everything seemed to work really well. Now, I like the added functionality, being able to highlight sections on the display, sharing them via email or any of the social media. That's pretty handy. I love the ability to hold down the pen and take a screenshot. That's really handy, as well as doing split screen view, as you see here. I love that fact you can use the pen to give you that added functionality, and that's pretty cool. Now, like the Mate 20 Pro, this does have face recognition or face unlock, but it's not 3D face recognition as you'd get with the Mate 20 Pro. This is less secure, but it's very fast nonetheless. But it does have a fingerprint scanner on the back for you to use if you want a more secure login method. Setup was easy and registered my finger pretty much every time I used it. I'm a big fan of the placement, I like where it is, and I'm happy to see it on this device. Now, I love the way this phone looks. I like the gorgeous midnight blue color, and I love the textured glass back. Now, at 7.2 inches, this is not going to be a one-handed device. You're going to have to use two hands with this device. But again, if you're in the market for a large, giant phablet, this is going to be your ticket so far. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are interested in the cameras. It's a triple camera setup on the back. The main shooter is a 40 megapixel f1.8. You get a secondary 20 megapixel ultra wide lens, that's f2.2, and then you get a third lens, an 8 megapixel telephoto lens, f2.4. Now, I haven't really tested the full capabilities of this triple camera setup on the back. I'm less than 48 hours in, but I can tell you my initial impressions so far are really good. I'm really loving these cameras, especially the black and white photos of this camera, looking really good. Even though they're software based now, there's no longer a dedicated monochrome lens. But as you can see from these photos, it has a nice blurred background effect in the portrait mode, or a nice bokeh effect, and that's been pretty good so far. Now, when it comes to video, it can shoot 4K video at 30 frames per second, and it has optical image stabilization. As you can see here, pretty smooth video. I'm very happy with the stabilization on these lenses, as well as going outside in a little bit of a rough ride here. But as you can see, the video seems pretty stable nonetheless. Now, you could also shoot super slow motion video, as you see here. I'll give you more examples in the full review. Just wanted to give you a taste of these cameras. So this is the front-facing camera on the Huawei Mate 20X. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about it. I am curious to know. I think overall the cameras on the 20X are pretty good, but again, I want to know what you think. Let me know. Now, here's something pretty interesting. It has a desktop mode which is very similar to the DeX mode that you'd find with Samsung phones. Here, the desktop mode is very Windows-like, very desktop-like experience. You can connect to a keyboard, a mouse, and here, as you can see, to a monitor. Now, this monitor is pretty interesting. I have a video coming up on it the next day or so. It's called the VinPoc Split. It's a USB-C monitor. It's a touchscreen monitor. It's a portable monitor. It's very versatile, and so far, I'm really liking it. Expect that video in the next day or so. So far, I'm really impressed with the speakers. There's one on the top and one on the bottom for really excellent stereo sound. Let's hear it in action. The headphone jack is working really well, no interference, no static in my initial testing. Love the fact they give you those earbuds in the box. Well, so far so good, everything looking really good, right? Well, you're probably wondering, well, how's performance? Well, I can tell you, my initial impression so far, excellent. Really good numbers as far as the Geekbench 4 results, as you would expect a flagship to perform. Everything seems very snappy, everything seems very fluid. The OS is really running very well, no delay, no lag. Okay, so let's talk about the OS. It's running Android 9.0, so that's good to see, and it's also running the EMUI 9.0. Now, if you've seen any of my past videos, I think EMUI is a bit too bloated in my opinion, but Some people like it. It's highly customizable. So if you like to tinker with the look and the feel of the OS, this may be for you. Of course, you can always put a third-party launcher if you get the international version, so please keep that in mind. But as far as the OS itself, it's very fluid, very fast. Again, thanks to that Kirin 980, I have no complaints. Now, I'm running the Chinese variant with English. This also is available as an international model, which I would recommend you get. That one will definitely be better for some people. I have no issues so far. Everything's in English, and I'm getting 4G LTE via T-Mobile and my Project Fi SIM. And judging from these results, as you can see from this speed test that I ran, it's running really fast as far as the wireless is concerned. It has a very large and robust battery. It's 5,000 milliamp hours, and I'm guessing you're going to get around a day and a half to 2 days on a single charge. I'm seeing around 10 and a half hours as far as screen on time is concerned in my 48 hours of use so far. So far, battery's looking good. Not quite as good as the Xiaomi Mi Max 3, and not quite as good as the Honor Note 10. But again, full testing in that full review. Stay tuned for that. Now, a couple of odds and ends. First off, this does not have an IP68 rating as you'd find in the Huawei Mate 20 Pro. This has an IP53 rating, dust and splash protection, but not resistant. So please keep that in mind. And the other thing is, despite having a glass back, this doesn't support wireless charging. And speaking of charging, as far as fast charging is concerned, it does support the fast charging, but not the extra fast charging you'd get with the Mate 20 Pro. So what do you think about the Huawei Mate 20X? Less than 48 hours in, I'm really impressed. Loving that 7.2-inch AMOLED display, virtually bezel-less, 5,000 milliamp hour battery, excellent build and design. Love that textured glass back. Fingerprint sensor on the back, I'm a big fan of that. I'm really happy with this. Love the fact that it has a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Love the speakers, top and bottom. Great stereo sound. So far, no real deal breakers. This is probably one of my favorite phones of 2018. I'm a huge fan of this category, these large phablets. I know it's not for everybody, but for those that are into this, they're going to love this phone. Now, I love the Xiaomi Mi Max 3, love the Honor Note 10. This is a step above them both. Now, this costs more money, but I think it's well worth it. You're getting flagship specs in a very beautiful package, a large package that may not be for everybody. I want to keep stressing that because this is a very large phone. But again, if you're into the phablets, you're going to love this. I'm going to use this as my daily driver for the next week or so. I'm going to put it through its paces, put it through the ringer, get you all the tests and benchmarks, and come to you with my full review. I'll have the battery life, we'll test the display, and of course the performance will be shown as well. So stay tuned for that. Now, the other thing I want to point out is loving the triple camera setup on the back, Leica branded cameras, and I'm really happy with both the front-facing selfie camera and the rear-facing triple cameras on the back. All very good. Again, you'll get more extensive coverage of that in the full review. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and of course my website, AMDtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMDtech. See ya.